We'll call the subcommittee to order. Again, first of all, apologies for being a few minutes late. We just finished a vote in the full committee, so people will be meandering up here. Also, we're supposed to have recorded votes around 1:15 and 1:30. So our intent is to start getting the testimony, opening statements out of the way, and then hopefully we can move expeditiously. And I'll begin. I'd like to welcome everyone to the first hearing of the Environment and the Economy Subcommittee for the 112th Congress. I'm honored to serve as the chairman of the subcommittee and excited about the opportunity to work with members from both sides of the aisle. I particularly want to welcome and congratulate Mr. Green on being named ranking member. We've already spoken numerous times. We're friends for many years, more than we'd like to mention. And I've enjoyed working with him in the past and look forward to doing so in our future capacities on this subcommittee. From taking a shower in the morning to turning off the lights before bed, our daily lives are constantly touched by environmental regulations under the jurisdiction of this subcommittee. That might be obvious from its name, but what might not be so clear is the important nexus with economy portion of the title. Due to environmental regulations, families have to pay higher rates to turn on those lights or water, and there's also the grave impact that these higher costs have a consequence, as we've heard from Timberland last week, of forcing jobs overseas when overbearing regulations stifle the marketplace. It is a necessary and healthy exercise to review regulations to make sure congressional intent is being followed and in the best interest of our nations are protected. We cannot just look at regulations in individual silos. People don't have the luxury of being able to comply with regulations in the abstract or singularity. Rather, they must face all regulations together at the same time. That is why I think we need to weigh the benefits compared to the collective burdens placed on businesses trying to navigate through a struggling economy to keep jobs here and at home. More to the point, while one regulation alone may not close a business, the cumulative effect could be devastating, resulting in death by 1,000 cuts. Since 2009, when President Obama took office, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has finalized 928 rules and proposed 703 others. As we overload the nation with these proposed and finalized regulations, we need to ensure that in an effort to do a good thing, our government is not creating unintended consequences. According to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the problem is not simply the EPA is issuing a lot of regulations. Rather, it is that it has significantly increased the number of major rules, that is to say, rules costing the regulated community more than $100 million. These regulations typically ensnare multiple industry sectors and have economy-wide costs usually measuring in billions or even trillions of dollars, making their economic impact so widespread that multiple sectors of the economy must face substantial compliance costs. This is not sustainable for our economy. Regulating existing businesses into the ground on the hope that better ones will come later is irresponsible. Policies like those have starved free enterprise, bankrupting many larger states. We must protect jobs that exist now while working to open the doors for new opportunity to do business in the United States. It is also no secret that our federal budget problem is also infringing on the ability of private persons to access capital to expand their businesses. For this reason, our regulations should attack the worst problems first, doing so in a way that avoids broad brush strokes that insist on expensive but non-productive requirements that take resources away from businesses that would otherwise be growing our economy. There is a finite pot of resources that the federal, state, local, and private interests can bring to bear on any particular problem. Once those resources are committed to a problem, they are gone, leaving that much less to attack the remaining problems we face. Let me be clear, we are not seeking to strip basic public health and safety protections. Public health should be protected in a way that encourages all public welfare. A climate that welcomes development and encourages reinvestment creates the kind of wealth and fairness that needs to be encouraged. As chairman of this subcommittee, I work to make certain any environmental policies derived from this subcommittee will promote the public welfare as a whole while sustaining and creating new jobs and growth in our economy by letting valid, objective, and repeatable science drive the debate. This is a critical aspect EPA has strayed from in recent years, and Congress must work with the administration to refocus this attention. Today's hearing, Environmental Regulations, the Economy, and Jobs, is a fitting start to this mission and will provide the subcommittee a solid foundation to build. Our first panel will give us a broad view of the economics of regulations and processes issued by EPA to understand where they are causing exacerbated economic problems, or in other cases, where gaps might exist. Witnesses on the second panel will give us a direct perspective on EPA regulations that are affecting small businesses and possible consequences moving forward. I particularly would like to welcome Leonard Hopkins from the Southern Illinois Power Cooperative for being here today. Through the co-op, Mr. Hopkins helps supply power with reasonable utility rates to constituents in my district. Unfortunately, the proposed coal combustion residue regulation may put their ability to serve over 250,000 customers in rural Illinois in jeopardy. It's unrealized threats like these that make it essential we understand the full spectrum of effects regulations may have. All of our witnesses here today are valuable to our understanding, and I'd like to thank them all for taking the time to be here. Their testimony and participation with questions will help us better understand the jobs and economic growth and the relationship to our regulatory framework. And with that, I'll stop.